Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of The Four Jobbers. I'm Ginger Heat, and that just was the body from Kirkcaldy, Jordan Deves, all the way from Edinburgh, Scotland. We're also joined by the Waxy, the Venomous, the son of the dentist. If you're watching on YouTube, him and Jordan are coordinating outfits. How cute. And, of course, me and Jason are coordinating. Jason, introspectist himself. We're both wearing blue while they're both wearing green. Was there anything behind the inspiration for your blue here, Jason?
Yeah, it was on the couch next to me.
As you do, you keep your clothes on the couch. Good place to keep them. Jordan and Wax, anything that inspired the green today?
Top of the pile.
Yeah, only thing that was clean. It actually says a lot about us. All of us were just like, meh, I don't know. Meh.
If I know
Except
I'm not going
for-
anywhere, I'm not putting thought.
This guy,
into
the
it.
Cody Crybaby, wearing Wrestling Tees finest.
Ooh,
That is a nice shirt, to be
it's
fair.
a good shirt.
It's a good one. It is a good one.
Let's go. They have lots of great choices. Saw the boys. Good to see them. But of course, we got to talk about something not as fun. We got to talk about the week that was in wrestling, and there was a lot of cuts, a lot of releases. We don't want to be negative on this show. We're not trying to be. I said it last time, right? It's
Well.
just a weird time right now with WrestleMania and then a bunch of releases right after. But we'll be excited as we're on the road to Backlash. Don't worry, I'm sure. Perhaps at Backlash, we'll be more excited. Let's go right into it, Jordan. A lot of people were let go this week. Who were they, and what do you think about it?
Yeah, I mean, we'll go through them all, or maybe not them all, because there was some other NXT and developmental and Evolve wrestlers that were also in there, but I don't think there's an awful lot that we know about those particular talents, so we're not going to focus on that. We'll focus on main roster. We just missed this in the pod last week, but we had the entirety of the Wyatt Six. So they are gone. We have Aleister Black, Zelina Vega. We, what's her name? Kairi Sane is gone. Motor City Machine Guns, all leaving the company or being asked to leave or fired or promoted to customer. I don't know what you want to call it. A whole host of different things you could say, I guess. But yeah, I think it sucks when people lose their job, right? It's shit. And especially when there's talent that you know could be over, or there's talent that you think could do more than what they've been given or whatever, and they just don't get that chance. Obviously, there's reasons for that from a business standpoint or from a marketing standpoint. I get that, but it is sad when you see people go. One that pops in my mind, the first run in NXT and the start of his run in the main roster, Aleister Black. He was a great character. He was unreal, and he was cut before, and he went to AEW, and he did some really interesting stuff in AEW. He had a whole new faction, a whole storyline, a whole gimmick that was really over in AEW, and a lot of people were really behind it. I mean, it's kind of faded out after he left. Although Brody King is doing phenomenally well over there in AEW still, so that's great. He's maybe stepped out of the shadow of Aleister Black now that he's gone. But since he came back, nothing was really done with him. Nothing was really, he wasn't really used for much. There was rumors of him being tied to Randy Orton around the Mania kind of storylines, but nothing really happened with that. So am I surprised to see him go? No, not really. Be honest, am I upset that he's gone? No, because he wasn't over. He wasn't a guy that I was like, I can't wait to see what he does next. I just have fond memories of him in NXT and think, wow, it's a shame that never worked on the main roster. Do you guys have anyone from the list that have gone that you think, that's a shame, or I'm glad that, you might even think, hey, do you know what? Nikki Cross, I'm glad she's gone, that freak. I don't know. It's up to you.
Of all the people to call out,
Yeah, I just say I picked that.
Scottish one, of course.
I'll throw a couple other names. Just Zoe Stark, Alba Fire, Apollo Crews, Santos Escobar, all also. But I think the name that stands out to me is the Motor City Machine Guns. I don't know if I'm happy or upset that they were released or their contract was not renewed, but it just feels like, I don't know. I can't tell if they were dead on arrival, just by virtue of being a tag team that only was ever going to really be a tag team, or they had something and then lost interest, didn't know what to do with them. They weren't over. Any combination of reasons, but it seems like the Guns are an example that people are putting out as like, that makes no sense. And on paper, it does make no sense because these are a legendary tag team. So you would think you could do something with these guys, especially when you're not doing anything in particular with your tag team division. Your tag team champs are a thrown together tag team in Priest and R-Truth.
Yeah.
If there's one team that I think will land on their feet somewhere if they want to continue wrestling, it is those guys. Regardless of whether or not it worked out in WWE, which it clearly didn't, though they did hold the titles pretty early on. That's why I thought, hey, they're going to do something with these guys. They're going to do something with the tag team division finally. They're kind of the banner children for, okay, there's not going to be much of an investment. Seems like they could go back to TNA if they want to. The rumor is maybe AEW. They'd give it a try in AEW. I think there's enough of their friends, people they've worked with before that would advocate for them, which allegedly, and I don't like throwing dirt sheets out, allegedly Alistair doesn't have that same push for him. So not worried about them personally, just a shame because I would have liked to see more of them in a WWE environment, especially when they were brought in. They chose WWE over AEW. It feels like a wasted opportunity, even if, yes, eventually the fan support wasn't there, the gimmick wasn't there, but there wasn't any investment in them either.
Yeah.
So,
Sure. Jason, anyone stand out for you on that list?
Well, I'd like to preface everything I'm going to say just with because everyone gets so sensitive around the release times. There's people putting out sounds like eulogies basically for all the releases. So I got to be very sensitive here. But obviously, losing your job sucks unless you really hate your job. Sometimes it's actually a blessing in disguise. But in this case, I'm sure it sucks. I was laid off in 2024, and it turned out to be a great thing. And now I'm in a better place with more money and a better opportunity. Sometimes that happens. Obviously, wrestling is different, but when we're talking about the Motor City Machine Guns, I'm speaking from only knowing them. I knew who they were, but only really seeing their work in WWE on the main roster. I knew right away they were dead on arrival, just from being that kind of fan. First of all, they gave them the titles way too fast. They did nothing with them. That's like an anchor. Like when you reach the top and then do nothing with it and then you try to chase it again. We already saw it. They had a great entrance. That's all they had. They had no personality whatsoever, whether they were given the time to allow to have personality. They were just these little things in the back that said the most basic stuff. They weren't interested. I'm not surprised whatsoever they're gone. I'm not surprised the Wyatt Six are gone because once again you gave them an incredible debut that we all loved and you set a standard for them that they're going to operate outside the realm of everyone else. They're going to be vicious and dangerous and violent. And then they weren't anymore after the first time that you introduced them and they did nothing and you could feel sorry for them and I'm not happy they're gone. Because there's always, these are the best of the best, all these wrestlers that get released. They're not released because they can't work or they can't develop a character. It's because there's no room or no time. You can always catch yourself saying, well, they could have done this with him. They could have done that with her. Yeah, that's always the case. So it's just unfortunate. It's very limited amount of time, especially with all the ads and all the ad breaks with the music that puts you in a trance. So there's just not a lot of time to go around. And if you have to operate you have a couple minutes to get over, which is ridiculous. Usually you had house shows in multiple weeks and all these different things. And now it's it's harder than ever. But on the bright side, there's more opportunities other places. There's AEW and there's ROH and there's TNA and there's the indies. You can make a name for yourself. Cody Rhodes was working the indies. Now he's arguably the biggest star in all of wrestling. So, I'm watching some of these people like Alba Fire. I was watching her a couple of weeks ago and she was minimized to a sidekick Secret Service agent forever. To me, I was looking at her she can do so much more. She's so much better than this. This is from a fan's perspective, sad to see. I know it's a stable paycheck and all that, but I'm talking about wrestling. I don't want to speak about all that other stuff. So it's just sad to see some of these people, like you said, they could do so much more getting stuck in these things that I'm sure they would rather do more. And you have to decide if you want a stable, soul-crushing paycheck or you want to take a risk and go somewhere else. And bet on
100%.
yourself like Cody Rhodes did. Not that everyone could be Cody Rhodes, but hey, he's not that special anyways, and look what he did. So
Drew McIntyre, for sure, an example of that as well.
Yeah.
another great example, yeah.
There are 3 people that I want to mention from this list, if that's okay. We'll start off with number 1, Dexter Lumis. I've been a big Dexter guy for a long time, and this is another case of someone who was put into something where they don't have the time or the ways to get over necessary light. It's very hard in that group, cheers, Jordan, to get over. And something big about him was his personality without saying a lot, right? It really shone through in NXT. It didn't come across so much because he was part of a weird, fanciful gimmick that was just a mess. And we know that they can't do anything that's spooky. I don't know, anything that's outside of the realm of normal, and they can barely do that well. So the other one obviously leads into it is Bo Dallas. Bo Dallas is someone that I've been a fan of for a long time, longer than Dexter Lumis. My boy, my guy. He blew me away in NXT with Bo Leave. And then he comes out as Uncle Howdy and has these incredible moving promos.
He had some great moments.
And instead of running with that and keeping that momentum of the crazy start, the crazy promos, they turned it into some childish, weird, fantasy, not fantasy, don't know what we're doing mess. And so it didn't work. And I don't know if I don't know who that's on. I'm not going to place blame on anybody.
I don't
It just
think
didn't
they
work out.
deviated enough from an already beloved gimmick that someone else did better.
And if they were going to, we said it, the main thing on this pod, like coming out in the light, things like that, the biggest thing was differentiating between Uncle Howdy and Bo Dallas.
Yeah.
And how there should have been more of a play there, and how he shouldn't just always come out in the mask and just be so, it just really took all the...
Oversaturated.
Yeah,
I
took
think
all
for
the
the
magic
Wyatt
away.
6, I hate to say it like this, but it feels like a group that was brought together specifically to honor Wyndham. And I don't think they wanted that big moment. So here they are.
They got a big moment.
Because I
Sell
saw
some merch.
for months people were speculating that these exact people would be this exact faction.
Yeah.
It almost feels like they read the dirt sheets and were like, "Oh yeah, you know what? Let's just do that. Let's give them a little tribute. Let's give Bray an honor.
Tribute
that-
band,
that whole thing." Same reason Alexa comes out still with the moth in her Titantron and everything like that.
The doll.
And then they just didn't have a plan for it. It's like, okay, well, we brought them back. I guess they'll kind of be spooky every now and then they'll wrestle. They'll wrestle a regular match, regular gimmicks. They'll lose,
It's
they'll
so
win.
stupid.
Can't be spooky halftime. You got to be full-time
No.
spooky.
There has to be full spooky, or
It
the
doesn't.
character consistency.
I would
wasn't there
rather
either.
they have been cult-like followers of
Yes.
Bray's
That's
teaching.
the whole,
Set
That's
in
what I thought
reality.
it was.
But that's what he was saying, like
Yeah.
at the beginning. That's exactly what it was
And
supposed to
more
be. Yes,
confliction
Actually, no
of
story.
Bo and seeing normal Bo.
Yeah.
Well, we saw a lot of normal Bo, but only in promo packages backstage. Why
Yeah.
does he? Why is he backstage sitting there rocking in a corner like Mankind was in '98? And then you're like, oh wow, that guy! There's so much character there. This is amazing. I can't wait to see him wrestle. And then he comes out in a fake top hat and a half a mask, going, and it's like, really?
Yeah.
This is
with
what we're
nothing to
getting?
bring that out of him. He's
No,
just
it-
wrestling a random opponent this week.
I think something that what was he called? The demon? No, what was Bray
The
Wyatt?
Fiend.
The Fiend. There's something that the Fiend had was his entire face was the mask. Like
It was a good match,
it-
too.
it looked insane, and like
there was a whole that happening, that incident, and
like
coming
there was
you know,
it was a whole story around
story
it, but
involved in it.
Uncle Howdy, I could see that it was Bo beneath the mask,
Yeah,
and it
Yeah,
just didn't
it was
work.
cheap
Like
looking.
it didn't feel as real, and I know it's not meant to be real.
we shouldn't have
I
seen a
am-
mask for a
but-
long time. It should have been him.
It is
You could
meant
put
to be
some
real.
makeup
You are
on,
meant
make
to
him
believe it's real.
dirty him up a little bit, make
But
him
yeah, it's a shame.
make him snap over time. I mean, there's really a lot of time to tell that story because they were planning to have them around for a long time. So it's not something that needed to be constantly rushed and mishmashed and bungled. But
Who was your
What's
third, Brad?
the third one on the list is Andre Chase, someone who I think had been
nice.
released previously, then came back, but
call.
loved what he was doing as a wrestler, as a faction cult leader of sorts.
Yeah.
in a
In his own
different
way.
way. Chase U his own way. But I loved everything about him. Loved his gimmick. I love that. There's something we could play along with. There's all things that the fans could get involved in. I thought he had it. I thought he gets it. He doesn't have the traditional look, but sometimes that's exactly what you need. I mean, Joe Hendry, not necessarily. Danhausen, definitely not. Jason's favorites. Chase, I thought was pretty good, and disappointed
liked
that he
him
was
too.
let go. I thought he could cook.
So nobody's talking about the one that's causing the most conversation,
Do it.
right?
Do it.
And
Mrs.
that's-
Sane.
It
Mrs.
is.
Kyrie Sane.
It's Kyrie Sane. Well, I think she was the most shocking one, given she was actively involved in an admittedly underdeveloped storyline, but was.
Oh, no, I think it's an amazing storyline that everyone was loving, and it was one of the best storylines going from what I'm seeing. I don't know. I don't know about you.
It had a lot of exposure.
It had
nonetheless.
exposure. That's
It
it.
had a consistent time, yeah, but so did Wyatt Six, whether it sucked or not.
Yeah.
Right? They were
now,
feuding
now,
over Atlanta.
now Meltzer's
This
coming
had
out
more.
and saying that she wanted to leave. She wanted to go back to Japan. I don't know if that's cope.
Oh,
I
interesting.
don't know what that is. Maybe it's true. Maybe it's not. I don't.
It's.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at
Either way.
we've been saying for a while that the trigger should have been pulled a long time ago on the whole
True.
Io Asuka Kairi storyline. Like it's been going on
Maybe
for so long,
WrestleMania. Oh,
and we
just
were
doing
kind
that.
of expecting it to happen at Mania, and it didn't. And I wonder if that's because we knew that, or they knew that Kairi was going to be leaving, and actually we just.
I think they knew they ran out of time on the card when you have to have 5
Well,
hours
that's also
of
true,
ads
yeah.
on a
That
4-hour
is also
show.
true.
Got to put the Hogan documentary in.
Yeah. You know, it's a
Unbiased,
shame.
Perfect doc.
Kyrie gone again. Like I think her first run, she was great when she first came back. There was a lot of pop around her, and she's fun. Like she's a great wrestler, and she's a good character, and she's invested in her character perfectly. Like she's so good at it. But if you're not going to give her time, and you're not going to give her anything more than just Asuka's stooge, I don't really feel like I
Yeah,
should
I
care
didn't like
about
her in that role. Like she could do so much more.
That's why we deserve the payoff. We all
but
deserve
that's it.
the
Yeah,
payoff.
the payoff. We missed the payoff. Like all we will remember her
Yeah.
for is that now. That's all we'll remember her for.
I'll
It's
remember
such a
her
shame.
amazing elbow drop.
Great
Yes,
elbow.
I love
Great
that
Great
elbow.
elbow.
I mean,
Uh,
we're in the
both of
gimmick.
our
Love
elbows
of
are
the
lovely.
open C.
Yeah, whether it's right
And
or
her
left
knees.
elbow.
Oh.
I don't know, like how, as much as I see it now, it's flooding all of the Instagram stories and the YouTube comments. It reminds me of the R-Truth last year situation.
Yeah. It's
How
gonna
many
keep happening,
people were people cheering for her specifically when she was there? Because I remember, and we're going to talk about the Raw after WrestleMania in a moment, but I remember Io got lots of cheers. Rhea Ripley got lots of cheers, of course. And then the Kabuki Warriors came out. I didn't hear as many cheers for them. And maybe it's because people are a little tired of the story going nowhere. But again, it's a case of everyone seems to be really upset that these people are gone after they're gone. And I get that the crowd and the people on social media are not always the same people. That's I understand.
for sure.
Wrestling fans, we're not a monolith, but if we're not making our voices heard on a more consistent basis, we can't be terribly surprised, assuming that this was not a voluntary resignation, which it seems like it might be. We can't be overly surprised when the people who are not getting pops, who are not getting merch sales, who are not getting on the card, period, either choose to leave or are released in favor of other people who come in and maybe have a bit more drawing potential. Do I agree with it? Not necessarily. I don't, we need people on the bottom of the card just as much. Not everyone can be a main eventer, not even a mid-carder. But we can't be terribly surprised. This is unfortunately just the nature of it. And like Jason said, it's actually one of the best times to get released from WWE ever, because it's not WWE or bust anymore, and it hasn't been for a while. So I think a lot of these people will find their footing if they open themselves up to it, and maybe the path leads them back to WWE in the future. Maybe it doesn't. But
WWE's crazy now with the amount of layers to it. You can be a WWE ID prospect. You can go into that. You can go into one of their filler organizations. You can go into TNA. You can go into NXT before you even get to WWE. So there's a lot of competition, more than ever, because before it was just wrestlers and you hope that you're competing against wrestlers. Now they're bringing in any athlete willing to step into the squared circle and see what they got and see if they click. And if so, rocket right to their butt and they're going to the main roster. It's crazy.
Yeah.
That's the way it is.
It's wild. Well, let's look on the more positive, if you want to call it that, side of things, and some of the wrestlers that have recently been called up to the main roster on SmackDown, on the Raw after Mania, and announced that they will be debuting soon. Obviously, we've had some NXT call-ups already this year, in between the kind of Rumble and Mania. We had Oba, Javon Evans, and Trick Williams coming up. But some names are now appearing on both Raw and SmackDown. We have Ethan Page, has already debuted. We have Ricky Saints coming soon. We have, I'll say it. Okay, I'll say it. We have Joe Hendry on Raw. We have Sol Ruka. We have Blake Monroe debuting soon. And then, of course, Fatal Attraction, JC Jane, Lainey Reed, and Fallon Henley all coming up from NXT. I've watched a lot of NXT over the last year or so. I find it really easy to watch because it's 2 hours. There's no major ad breaks that put me off. It's pretty succinct, and it's on at a time like I'm typically off the day after. So I'm like, oh, great! I can watch this while I'm, hoovering the living room or something like that. I was going to say something else.
Yeah, you weren't wanking for once.
Yay, nice. You read my mind. Although by the time I get halfway through an episode of NXT, I'm like, yeah, okay, fine. Anyway, we've got some good talent coming up from NXT. Is there anyone that you're particularly interested in seeing what their character does in the main roster? I'll open that to the floor.
I mean, I think the character who will fit in the most seamlessly without any real major adjustment necessary is the one who I think has the most realized character, and that's Ethan Page. I think Ethan Page has been ready for a little while. I think the all-ego character works. It's an easy heel, cheap heat, easy to hate. Doesn't need to be a main eventer. Again, someone who can be thrown into a U.S. title, Intercontinental title, can be put as part of a tag team if he's not doing anything at that time. I think some of these other names, I'm excited for them, but I'm curious to see what is done to their character to make them more main roster available. Yeah, Ethan, I feel like, doesn't need to do anything to his character. I think he's already got that full of himself, smarmy heel. It's a gimmick as old as time, but his spin on it is interesting enough that makes me want to see more. He's good on the mic. He's good in the ring. So yeah, I think I was happy with how he was introduced. I know he didn't win clean, and people take issue when you don't win your debut match clean, but it was fine with me. It fits in with his character. 100%. Curious to see where he goes, if he's doing something with Rusev, if he's doing something else. I'll be entertained. And Canadian.
You want to see him continue to partner with Chelsea Green?
I'd love that. Canadian duo. If they ever do the mixed tag challenge again, that's an easy pairing. Or even if they're associates, because now Chelsea doesn't have Alba anymore. She doesn't have Piper anymore. So I wouldn't mind seeing them link up again.
Nice.
I feel like Sol Ruka's been talked about a lot, so let's talk about a few others that weren't. Ricky Saints, are you guys excited for Ricky Saints on the main roster, and do you think he will succeed? Jason, do you know anything about this guy?
Yeah, he does that thing like this or something, doesn't he?
That's pretty good. Yeah,
that's not bad from memory, from never watching.
Yeah, I think he's a pretty good talker. I'm all about the character and the persona, and I think he's got a realized one. I think he knows what he's doing. I don't know much about his in-ring work, but I'm sure he can work. So yeah, I mean, I'm excited to see people take a shot. You know, we need more intriguing characters, not just people at the top. We need the mid-level people to have us like locked to the screen as well, and be invested in their characters, which has been lacking, to say the least.
And there's about to be this mid-card, I guess we'll call it, is getting hot when you have Ricky Saints, you have Trick Williams, you have Carmelo, you have Ethan. Like, those are some, even if they're on different shows, they're eventually going to intermingle, and all these characters are pretty fully realized for all those guys. They're going to come up. They'll have big personalities. They're all young. They all want it, and it should get really competitive and really good, not only in the squared circle, but on the mic as well.
Interesting how many of these call-ups came from AEW, right?
Yeah.
Ethan,
Facts.
Ricky, Blake, I think Joe Hendry never showed up on AEW, eh?
Not that I
No.
remember, no.
No, he was TNA.
I'm going
My
to start
bad.
watching
But-
AEW.
What was your favorite part of Raw last night, Jason? Was it the Joe Hendry concert?
Definitely. Actually, it might have been Braun Breaker and Seth Rollins, to be honest.
Ah.
I mean, that's fair.
Well, fair
That's
enough. But
That was pretty good.
Pretty solid
Yeah, I
segment.
think looking at these names, the one that stands out for me is, of course, Blake Monroe. I'm super excited to have her on the main roster. I think you talk about having a character realized. I feel like she was stifled a bit in NXT. I feel like they tried to almost reinvent a character there.
Yeah.
Just let her do her thing. Like towards the end,
Yeah, now.
you were feeling like, okay, this is what we came to see. This is what we wanted. If we get that in the main roster, Blake Monroe, she's going to absolutely kill it. The only thing I don't like about her at the minute is her theme song. It doesn't suit her at all.
Agreed.
I'm fine with her being the glamour. I'm fine with her being this unbelievably beautiful woman who is deadly as hell. That's exactly what she's meant to be. But this music is just a bit Disney for me. Like it needs
Good
to
way to put
have
it.
more bite. And at the minute we don't have that. So if they were to reinvent that, everything else can stay exactly as it is. Yeah, she's so good. I don't know where I see her in the roster. Obviously, I'd love to see her in a main title picture, but not for a while. She's SmackDown, right?
yes.
So SmackDown with the
100% SmackDown.
Yeah. So and
Because
they've got,
Ruka went Raw.
yes, that's right. And who is the women's US champ again? Because I actually don't even know.
It's Tiffy.
Oh, it's Tiffy
Oh,
time.
right.
That would
mean-
be interesting.
You want to give me
That would be
That's
that would be
crazy.
Tiffy
solid.
and Blake? All right.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm
Tiffy
down.
Blake.
Do it. Do it straight away. Let's go.
I do want to give a shout out to JC Jane and
Yes.
Fatal Attraction
Definitely.
also, because JC, what I remember from her was Toxic Attraction,
Yeah.
when she was arguably the number 3 in that group. Obviously, after Mandy Rose, Gigi Dolan, they're both gone.
Yep.
And I kind of was worried about her a little bit after that,
course.
because we didn't get an opportunity to see much of her as kind of that lackey role. And so I wasn't sure what she would end up doing. Then she wins the NXT Women's Championship almost by accident, or it was
Yeah.
played off that way. And now she comes up with 2 henchwomen of her
then
own.
she held the TNA women's title.
That's right. She held the
time.
TNA at
Ooh.
the same time.
Holy.
And when she called up and she showed up on SmackDown, she was getting quite a bit of heat. So I'm very intrigued. And we don't have a heel girl group in on the main roster anywhere. So I'm curious to see
And a well-developed
a well-developed one. That's
like,
right.
They have a name. They
Yeah.
they have moves that they
a
do
front piece,
together.
a mouthpiece
Yeah.
that can speak. She's a great talker.
She
That
is.
is what we
I didn't
need.
realize-
the only one that I'm interested in, because we haven't seen an awful lot of her, is Lainey Reed. She was a late addition to
Yeah.
Fatal Influence, because there was the other lass, I can't remember her name, soccer girl that left NXT.
Man.
I can't remember her name. She was a late addition into the kind of group, so we haven't had a massive chance to see what she can do yet. It really has been all about Fallon and JC, but yeah, like we've got a solid a women's faction that is developed, and they know who each other are, and they have like an entrance where they do different things as they're coming. Like, it's actually a whole performance rather than just, hey, here's a couple of women that all have yellow hair, let's put them together. So yeah, that's great.
Their faces, their friends.
Yeah.
Yeah. Make them champs. Okay.
I know Jason doesn't like him, but Joe Hendry has a place on the roster in the same way that Danhausen
He
has a
does.
place on the
In
roster.
catering.
On a team with Montez Ford.
His
No,
best
I was
friend,
on the
Montez
team.
They only went out
Ford.
there because they're going after the tag titles.
No, because
No.
Montez Ford loves Joe Hendry. They're best
Best
friends.
friends.
They
Best pals.
text every day.
Nah,
You just got to deal with it.
you might not enjoy his gimmick, but he can put on a match, and he's there for a certain type of person. The people who like comedy wrestling love Joe Hendry.
His theme song still gets.
He's not even a comedy
over.
wrestler, though.
He's not a comedy wrestler.
He's not a
in the
comedy
same way
wrestler,
as-
but he's a comedy performance. People, you don't watch him and go, "This is so serious." You watch him and go, "That's good."
You watch him and then you turn off the TV. You don't watch him.
I mean, I keep him on, but
If you want to see Jason's real, unfiltered thoughts, go check out our YouTube or our Instagram. He live reacted to the universally loved Joe Hendry concert and debut on Monday Night Raw.
Apollo.
I don't see him lasting.
Is it because you don't like him, or
Unless-
you genuinely have a?
I don't just not like him for no reason. I don't. And I'm talking about the gimmick, by the way, because I know you can't talk bad about gimmicks anymore. It's like you're condemning the real human. I'm sure he's a lovely person, but like his gimmick is, I don't
No,
see
actually,
it lasting.
as a
I don't
person,
think
he's
it's
an
special.
arsehole.
I think it's already redundant. It's like people like R-Truth. The reason why he lasts so long as a comedy wrestler is because he embodies being funny. It's not just a cheap shtick that he does all the time. He's just funny no matter what situation you put him in. With Joe Hendry, it's just he has this little gimmick he does that people laugh at, and he's going to do it over and over and over and over and over and over. And as already people are getting sick, they're already starting to agree with me. I saw a couple comments and stuff. So, and people are even people saying like
Vindicated.
they clap back like, "Why don't you like him?" And I'm just like, I tell them why, and they're like, "Oh, whatever. I don't watch anyways." It's just people talking like don't even. They just bark at you, and they don't even watch, and they don't even pay attention, and then they're like, "Oh, I don't care. I don't watch."
I mean, I get that. Like, I'm not saying you're wrong. I it's not my kind of thing either, but it doesn't irk me in the same way that it irks you. The idea of like cheap pops in wrestling was, it's been a thing for a long time, and it's exactly what he's doing. It's no different than Mick Foley coming out and going bang bang and
Whoa.
saying it's great to
No,
be
no.
in this, state or whatever.
It's
Like,
a lot
it's
different. He's a legend.
But he's a legend because he kept
Joe
doing
Hendry's
the
just
same
begun.
thing over
You
and
never
over again.
WWE Hall of Famer future.
You can be a legend and get away with cheap pops. You can't be a cheap wanker and get away with cheap pops.
As long as Joe Hendry is selling merch and people are singing along to his theme song
Is he
and
selling merch?
clapping,
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna look
he
it up.
probably is. But people
Who
are
will
singing
last
along.
longer, Jason? Danhausen or Joe Hendry?
I don't think I've ever said anything bad about Danhausen. I think
Not
it's
saying.
a
I'm
better
just asking
gimmick.
you which one will outlast the other in WWE.
The only reason why Joe Hendry might last longer is because I don't think they'll oversaturate him as quickly as Danhausen. They're
Yeah,
just like
do a lot of
bombarding us with
Danhausen.
There's a
Danhausen.
lot of Dan.
And I like his gimmick, and I think it's good, and he's over, and he's getting a great reaction. But
Sell merch.
WWE, if something works, they'll beat it to death. So
yeah.
Well, at least Joe can go out and put on a decent match. Like Jordan said, it's not like
I'm waiting to
he's.
see that. We'll see.
I think. I mean,
Show
from
me
the
what's his
bit I've
best
seen
match.
of
Maybe I
him,
can change my tune.
You never watched him on
tell me a
NXT at
Joe
all?
Hendry match to watch.
didn't he
You
have a
watch any
good
of, like,
match on
his-
TNA with Mike Ortiz? Was it Ortiz?
Oh yeah. Yeah. True.
For the TNA Championship, that one was pretty good.
Jason, you have the ability to watch NXT whenever you want. The fact that you go back and watch wrestling from 1984 is up to you. Go and watch some
When it was
NXT.
good.
Yeah. Turn off the
Watch,
Greg the
uh,
Hammer Valentine and put
Yeah.
on some Joe Hendry.
Joe Hendry winning
Oh,
the NXT
God.
title. Watch any of that.
Would you actually give it a chance? Would you watch one of his
I'm,
matches?
I'm,
Like, would
I'm
you
not
go back
saying
and
you have to watch
his
his
NXT match?
promos. You
No,
just
you have to
just watch the
his
match.
promos. You can even fast forward the theme song if it bothers you.
I will.
There
I
we
believe
go.
that 0%.
You heard it here first.
Will Jason watch
No, I
Joe
will
Hendry
fast
win the
forward
NXT
theme song.
Championship first, or will he watch Lord of the Rings first? I don't know.
Oh,
I'd rather watch Lord of the Rings. How about 1,000 times in a row before
You'll
a
be
Joe
dead.
Hendry match?
Director's cut.
Oh,
Yep.
definitely dead.
well, there's no other
Oh,
way.
yeah.
Part of it
Wow.
is it's fun to not like a gimmick and to be a hater. Like I
Contrarian?
feel alive,
You?
so I've chosen Joe
You
Hendry.
feel alive.
It started real, and now I'm compounding it.
I love it.
It's fine.
Don't back down, double down. I'm here for it.
But at least you can go back and then watch a match and then have a more informed commentary on his wrestling abilities. And if you
I
actually
don't
think
comment
he
on his
sucks,
wrestling abilities. Just his
But
gimmick.
if you
and
actually
his,
think he sucks, then you can add it to the pile. You can be like, he's not even that good in the
yeah,
ring.
because I don't think he's an outstanding wrestler either. I don't think any one of you would say he's a great in-ring worker.
Can he tell
He's
a story
okay,
is the
right?
question. Go watch the matches and tell me.
I think he can put on a good match. He can put on a good enough match. That for me is plenty. I'm
Good,
not saying
good
he's
enough,
Bryan Danielson
pretty
out
good,
there.
Kind of good.
Let's talk about really good here for a second. I want to talk about the promo at the beginning of Raw. It was Roman Reigns in this cinematic promo with the Usos. I like these cinematic promos because you give the Usos many takes. I don't know if they can nail it on the first take. I know Roman can. So it gives them a chance to breathe. It gives more chance for nuance because you're getting the close-ups and the camera angles that we want, not the live cuts, which usually detract from the story. So I like them going in that way, similar to what they've done with some of the performers, who Seth called Performer de Braun, by the way, which was really weird. He says, "You're one of the greatest performers." Like, it sounded
It's
like
a performance, even if it it's a real fight, it'd be a performer.
Would you call your boxer? Would you say, "Hey, Connor"?
Performance of the
Conor
night.
McGregor,
They
Mr.
sometimes say that
Performer?
for UFC, right?
They would never say performer. They would say fighter.
No, I know, but it does make sense logically if you have to dance around whatever he decided to say. You know,
You could make it make sense by saying he's talking about how you
Make it make
perform
sense.
in the ring.
It's unusual for sure.
It's
But
unusual.
I don't like him calling another wrestler a performer. And I think
That's
he
no,
was
it's not an
probably
ideal situation, but you could make excuses for it now that it's been said.
Yeah, like you have to make some big excuses because it's really not very good.
Mm.
Anyway, sidebar. The cinematic promos I like a lot, and it's adding a lot to that feud with Jacob. Jacob has a lot of nuance where he's not just coming in as this crazy werewolf who has no feelings and is not a human being, but he's just a psychopath. There's a lot of nuance to him, and then he finally snapped. And he's bringing up Solo and bringing up all these different things. Are you guys getting a little more juiced from this feud than you were at the beginning?
I think the thing that I liked about this already, we have 4 or 5 weeks between Mania and Backlash, right? And all I saw before Punk and Roman was, well, do you know what? I don't like you. And yeah, I don't like you either. And well, I respect you. You same, but I think you're a dick. Well, you're a dick. And it was just week after week after week of that. Now, don't get me wrong. We're talking about some of the best, promo back and forths we've seen for years. It was great. But I loved that we had 1 week of Jacob coming out and going, I want to challenge you. And Roman goes, you're not on my level, mate. Don't even try it. Then the next week, they tried to have another promo, and Jacob just goes, nah, fuck you. I'm just going to knock you out. I'm just going to take you out.
The week
Great.
before, he
That's
looked kind of
perfect.
he looked kind of nervous, like he wasn't sure what to do, and it's like
100%.
it's just building up.
But it just shows that that's his character. His character isn't as cool and calm and collected as Punk is. His character is, hey, by the way, I'm the werewolf, if you want to use that. I'm the werewolf, and yeah, I've got feelings, and I'm a dude, and I think, and I cry and I bleed and all of that. But by the way, if you piss me off, I'm going to stick my thumb up your arse and I'm going to rip out your heart. Like that's what I want. That's what I want from this feud. I want it to be a bit more brutal, because that's what Jacob's character is. He's not able to, and I think I really hope anyway, that's what they're going to do in the match at Backlash, that Jacob will lose, not because he can't beat Roman, but because he can't control himself.
Ooh.
That would be such a good
Full
way.
moon.
Crazy.
We've just
Full moon.
exactly we've just watched two guys have one of the best matches at WrestleMania of all time. And it was a fight between two guys who are able to hold their own and fight when they need to fight and hold back when they need to hold back. Jacob will lose because he doesn't know that yet. And that's a great story.
That's a great story, because not only would it be a great story for Backlash, if they wanted to, they could even carry that after Backlash as a
100%.
Jacob story. If you really, if you want to go that way, I don't know that they would or they will. You could certainly set up a second Jacob versus Roman match at, let's say, Survivor Series, assuming Roman is still holding the title, what Jacob is maybe theoretically. Like he goes through some challenges, some other feuds where he has to learn to control his emotions. Maybe he goes up against, I don't know, a real good shit talker who is, like a Drew again. Not Drew again, actually. I shouldn't say that. I don't know.
Like a
Put him up against Punk.
Put him up against Punk. Put him up against Randy. Put him up against I don't know, even someone like Ethan, who's a good talker.
Yeah.
Like show him noticeably trying, maybe failing sometimes, but also occasionally succeeding. And you have a nice long-term storyline, and it feels more real because, again, there's always the family aspect to it.
100%.
Does he ever go back with Solo? Since he's mentioned Solo now, and he seems to be appreciative and thankful of Solo. If
There's
he
enough-
loses to Roman, he's lying.
There's enough
Either he's-
Samoans with Solo right now.
It seems like Roman wants to bring them all into the main event picture here.
I don't
and,
think
get the
we
family
need
going.
that, but maybe.
And Jordan, did you seriously just say we're talking about two of the best of all time?
Did I say that?
I think you did about
Punk and Roman.
Punk and Roman, yeah.
It's actually a comment from our YouTube where a dude said, "Did you seriously just say we're talking about two of the best of all time?" Bah.
There's never a follow-up, though. So everyone's just like, yeah, and there's just no follow-up.
It's like a
they
drive-by.
They drop a drive-by. But it's just funny because I had mentioned that on the podcast, and then Sky blasted us like,
So
Two of the best of all
I
time.
totally missed that. So someone doesn't believe that Roman Reigns and
No, they
CM
just
Punk
said it.
are two of the best of all. I mean,
People just say anything. People just say anything.
but shout out to that guy. Thanks for
Yeah,
commenting either way.
Thanks. Friend of the show.
I would take it.
thanks for
one-
coming. Come on the pod and we'll have a chat sometime.
Yeah.
Take it one further with Jacob. I think you should turn heel.
It's kind of turning heel already, I think, with everyone
Yeah,
buried
slowly
behind Roman
continue
Reigns right
that.
now.
I wasn't super high on him. I don't dislike him, but he is so far from Roman's level. Like, it just felt so mismatched when they went into that encounter, and he was trying to remain composed, and it wasn't working, in my opinion. And he even shocked me when he went for this crazy choke. I thought he went for the mandible claw. He just had his arms all up in him.
That's
And
sick.
Roman selling is great.
so good.
You know, he was spitting all over the mat. He made it look
So
really
crazy.
dangerous. And they were kind of booing. They were kind of booing Jacob a little bit. I heard some boos because like everyone loved Roman in Texas. Like he was so over, and we want to cheer him. We're so happy we're back. This title feels bigger than the other title. It went from the number 2 title to the night 2 title because Roman has it. And I'm so happy that he's back. Like, it just like he comes on screen, you just want to talk. You just want to hear him talk. So it made me more interested for this match that Jacob went the route of being an insane, crazy bastard that he's just like, whatever, I'm just gonna choke you. I don't know what to do. I'll choke the shit out of you. Like, so that was good. And I think he should lean into that. He should be more dastardly, more evil, and get people to boo him because no one's gonna boo Roman. And I don't want a lesser babyface who's not even close to this huge babyface fighting. So make him a heel.
That's where I'm kind of talking about down the line he joins Solo because I don't want him to take the title. If he does, it should be short term and Roman wins it back. Jacob,
I don't want
at
Roman
some
losing
point,
the title. No.
Nah,
Jacob
he
can't
won't
beat all
lose it.
3. It's like we had in the past with the Bloodline. You can't beat all 3 of them. It's not going to happen.
I hope they don't interfere in the same way. And I'm happy they're involved, but I hope it's not the exact same
They seem kind of
shenanigans, you know?
stoogey right now, so they're not going to be OP necessarily. But again, it is still, they've built both of those guys up since the last Bloodline. So I think it's going to be very hard to take them down.
it would do a lot of damage, not long term, but it would do for the match and for the storyline for me anyway. It would do a little bit of damage if after one of the greatest main events in WrestleMania history, you have 5 weeks later Roman struggling to beat Jacob Fatu and then his cousins kind of help him win. I feel like the believability immediately goes out the window for me. Like if they were to interfere and Roman says, "What the fuck are you doing? I was doing that on my own. Why are you interfering? I don't need you to interfere anymore." Fine. But if it's like Roman's struggling, like, "Oh, this guy's a werewolf," and then they save him and save his title, and he's like, "Thanks, lads," that would I feel like that would damage what we've just watched at WrestleMania.
It needs to be more like Jack the Lad.
Aye.
Trying to find a way to use
so-
that properly.
We already
Fatu's
have
got to
a-
be Jack the Ripper.
Whoa.
Yeah, so like you say, they don't have to come out. He
Bodies.
can just go crazy and either get disqualified or lose the match by going psycho.
Yeah.
So hopefully they don't come out. I don't want them to. I'm just bringing it up because this is WWE.
Well, that is true.
So that's one of 3 matches that are already set for Backlash. It's Roman Jacob. There's Asuka versus Io.
Yep.
And Seth versus Braun. And Jason, you said that was your favorite part of Raw last night, right?
arguably.
Yeah, I found they
Arguably?
were both very entertaining. They made good points. They went back and forth for a while, and I was actually listening the whole way through. And
good.
Braun really demonstrated that he could go, toe to toe on the mic with Seth, who's one of the best. And it was interesting to see, and them both making like actual good points. It was just a fun interaction, and he even made fun of him by holding his nose, and I found that actually was
so
pretty good
good.
impression, and it was
It was
kind
a
of
great
funny.
impression.
It was really good.
And
No
Seth,
hesitation, just
like,
went
I don't
for
know.
it.
It was just a really authentic, good back and forth. It felt so real to me. Like, like these two were really going at each other, and they did have like admiration for each other. And Seth did let Braun down, and Braun let Seth down, and they both have like actual gripes with each other. And you have Paul Heyman in the mix. Like, I was so happy to see them both back. We need this like top tier performances. Having them gone, you could feel it was missing. So it was just really good. It was really good.
It's, this promo really opened my eyes to Braun as a talker. I think I still had the Steiner gene floating around him, and so I just kind of assumed he was very emotional.
Baby Steiner.
Baby Steiner, basically. But no, he was controlled. He spoke clearly, fluently, well. And I think I wouldn't be able to say that Seth schooled him or anything like that. I actually think I liked Braun better on the mic than Seth in that promo. The other thing I noted is it seems like Braun, as much as both are with Paul Heyman, it seems like him and Division are going on separate quests for the time being. Like Logan and Austin are doing their thing with the Street Profits or whomever. And Braun is directly going up with Seth. So I'm curious if that's for now, and they'll come back together, or if that's just Braun's going to be his own thing, and Division's really just going to be the shell of its former self, admittedly.
I mean, we've got a few weeks, so I'm not expecting official predictions on it at this point, but your thoughts going into already a pretty exciting Backlash, which is surprising for Backlash, to be fair, but a pretty exciting Backlash.
It's going to be better than WrestleMania.
It might be, if they listen to
it
our
can't be worse.
feedback.
It can't be worse.
But Braun Breaker beating
Backlash.
Braun Breaker
Challenge.
beating Seth Rollins and then saying, right, now that I've got him in my rearview mirror, Logan, Austin, follow me. That's a great start to the rest of the year. Like, if he was to really take that faction and run with it.
It seems to be Seth is spiraling, right? He was in the back there, and they're like, I'm not helping you. Who the
Not
hell is
helping you
Seth
loser.
Rollins,
Get out
you
of
rat?
here.
Like, there's no way. You got no friends here.
Yeah.
Like, what do you think this is? So he's going to realize that soon after he loses to them. He's going to be in a new and interesting place. And I'm not worried about it because I know he can. I'm excited about it.
Yeah, I think Braun has to beat Seth at Backlash. It's early. There's still a few weeks, but it makes sense. Reunite with Division, and then Bronson comes back eventually, and that adds an extra wrinkle to the story, like what happens there. So
Division is real close to getting
It
back
could be.
together at full
It could
strength.
be.
And they're going to have the tag titles, and everything's going to be firing on all cylinders. That's going to be sick.
we'll see.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, that was the week that was in the world of wrestling. We'll be back next week, but check us out everywhere on our social media. We need your support, so if you want to support us, if you liked what you heard, give us a like, subscribe, maybe send it to a friend. And if not, well, you're a jobber too. We're all jobbers, okay? Support one another. Good luck to all the talent that was released. You'll find a way to either come back and be great, or you'll find better pastures on the horizon. Good luck to you all, and we'll see you next freaking week. Peace.